Hi, kindergarten. We're here to do My Cousin Momo Part 2. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is use my watercolors. I've got my paper from last week, and I'm going to watercolor paint. Now, if you don't have watercolors, you can use crayons or colored pencils to fill in, okay? So the first thing I'm going to paint is my rectangle. This is going to be Momo's headband and wristband. So I'm going to pick 3 colors to use. I'm going to do orange for one of the stripes. And then I'm going to do yellow for the second stripe. And then I'm going to do green for the third stripe. Okay. Now remember, when you watercolor paint, you don't want to get too much water or it gets really drippy, and then you won't be ready to cut out because it won't be dry. Alright, now we're going to move to his ears, paw, and face. They are brown. So I'm just going to use brown, and I'm going to color in you see how I have a lot of water on that paw? I'm taking it and I'm spreading it out, on the ear. So I'm taking that and I'm spreading it out over here because I want this to dry quick. And if you paint outside the lines, that's okay because we're going to be cutting. So you won't see that. Now I'm turning him upside down. And I want to be really careful around the eyes. I don't want to color in that white part of his eye with the brown, so I'm being a little more careful. Around his eye. His eyes, I should say. So once you've done the eyes, then the rest is just color or paint really quick. Okay. Now I'm switching to black. First, I'm going to do this rectangle block. This will be the straps for his camera. And then I'm going to color the camera black. Again, you want to be careful. I want to leave these rectangles white and the middle white. So I'm going to color, or paint, sorry, really carefully around here, so I don't paint those rectangles. So you just have to take your time. All right, now I'm going to set this paper to the side to dry. So next, I'm going to use a colored paper. I'm going to use orange. And I also have a big piece of paper. You don't have to have the big piece of paper, but if you want to glue him onto a bigger piece of paper, then you'll need a bigger piece. If you only have white, you don't have any colors, you can put a design on his shirt. This is going to be his shirt. Okay? So I'm going to start near the top, and I'm going to draw down and around. All the way to the bottom. And now I'm going to cut this out. So this actually will be his body, his shirt. Okay. Alright, so now I'm getting my big white piece. If you don't have a big white piece, you could glue two small white pieces together, or you could just wait until your painting dries to add the other parts. So I'm all the way down at the bottom of my paper, and I'm in the corner. It matches up. I'm just going to glue this on, but I'm only going to put glue on the straight sides first. I'm not going to put glue on the curve. So I'm going to turn it over. And I'm just putting glue on the straight sides first. Then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to try to match it the best I can and glue it down. Okay, so you may need to wait a couple more minutes if you painted your Momo. So if you painted, you might want to pause the video and let it dry for a couple more minutes. Mine is pretty dry because I made sure I didn't use very much water. So I'm going to start. I'm going to cut out all the parts. So I'm starting with the camera. Now we're just cutting around the edges on the black line. All right, almost done. Okay. Now, this black rectangle, I'm going to cut it in half the long way because this is going to be the straps for Momo's camera because he wears it around his neck. So I just cut that in half. Okay. Now, I am going to glue my parts on. Keep putting my glue away. I need it. So I'm going to start with his head. And then I'm going to add his ears. And I'm going to glue them a little bit under the head. Okay. Next, the paw. Now the paw is going to go under. That's why we didn't glue this curvy part down. So you want to glue his paw under the paper. And then if you want to, you can add some glue under that curvy part. Now that the paw is on there, I'm just going to lift it up. You don't even have to do that. It should stick. All right, next, I'm going to glue on the straps for his camera. Now, the second strap might be too long. If it is, you can always cut it. I think mine's okay. And then you'll glue the camera down. And it will cover up the bottom of the straps. All All right, now his headband and wristband. So I'm gonna measure his little wrist here, and I'm going to cut part of this off and glue it on his wrist like that. And then whatever's left, I'm gonna glue on his head. Might cover up his eyes a little bit, might cover up his ears a little bit. All right. And then if you want to, you can add some things in the background, like in the story, if you remember, they were looking at mushrooms and there were butterflies and leaves. So I think I'm going to draw myself a horizon line, which is when you see something in the background. And then I'm going to draw a mushroom. And then up here maybe I'll draw a butterfly. And then I can color those in. Let's see, the mushroom was a red, white polka dots. And I'll make the butterfly purple. And then maybe I'll give him the butterfly some dots. Like that. Okay, so there you go. There's your Momo picture. You can add more into the background. You could color all of this green for grass. It's up to you. All right. I hope you had fun. I'll see you next week. Have a great week.